Alright, so now let's start to take a look at exactly how we can use Bridge to analyze our photographs that we've taken. So let's go ahead now. We'll start off. I'm going to click on this top photograph here, this flowers orange-2 .jpg, and what I need to do is I need to zoom in on this file to check some of the focus areas of this particular image. And one of the great new features of Bridge CS3 is this new loop tool that allows you to magnify objects at unbelievable amounts of magnification. To activate this tool, you simply click right here in the image window, in the preview window here, and you'll get this nice loop tool that you can move around to check specific focal areas of the image. When you're using this tool, anywhere you see this little pointed edge right here, that's where the center of the loop tool is going to be. So anytime you need to point it towards something or you need to fit it to a specific area, make sure that you have that pointed area right in the middle of the area that you're trying to analyze. So for instance, if I want to analyze this area up here, I just simply click and move this up here so that that portion is in the middle and it's automatically right there in the middle of my preview window. So another cool thing about this is the fact that you can zoom in and out, like I said before, and in order to zoom in and out, all you have to do is simply hit the plus key on your keyboard to zoom in, and you can zoom in up to 800% on these images, which is really far, especially since these are lower resolution images here. But if you press the minus key, you can zoom back out on these images, and you can only zoom out to 100%. 100% is the default zoom for these images here using the loop tool. So if you wanted to, you could zoom in up to 800%, but actually viewing these at 100% is a great way of analyzing these nice edges here, especially for lower resolution files. Because if you get up into the 800 percentile with the zoom on lower resolution files, you're going to see nothing but a mess of pixels, and it's really not going to help you all that much when you're checking sharpness or if you're looking for color accuracy and things like that. So I would suggest staying within the first couple of zoom levels here when you're analyzing lower resolution files. For high resolution files, you can absolutely go up into the 800% range because a lot of those are going to still be clear at that magnification. Now, let's say that you wanted to compare two images together here inside of Bridge. Well, it's very easy to do that now with the Bridge CS3 simply because they've put in here the ability to compare images side by side. So let's go ahead and close this loop window. I did that simply by clicking right in the middle there. And if I wanted to compare these two shots of these orange flowers, all I have to do is shift click on those and I'm able to compare those side by side right there in the Bridge preview window. However, I'm not really getting a full preview of these because they're so small. So how do I remedy this? It's very simple. I have an individual loop for each one of these images. So I simply clicked right there on those images and I had an instant loop tool for both of those. Now, one interesting thing about the loop tool, if you happen to get too close to an edge, the loop tool will rotate itself so that you get more room and so that it accurately previews that area of the image that you're looking at right there. So that's a very cool feature in and of itself. It recognizes the edges of the preview window and it will automatically flip itself around so that you have a more accurate preview. So now I can zoom in on these images, like I said, up to 800% on either one of these images, and I can place this cursor. Let's say I wanted to check the inside focus on the flower in this picture, and I wanted to check the same on this picture as well. Now, one thing that is rather limited with the Bridge is the loop tools do not detect each other. So therefore, if you have an overlap here, you're just going to have to kind of deal with it because they don't detect each other and rotate themselves accordingly. That's just one of the little drawbacks here inside of Bridge, one of the things I hope to see in Bridge CS4. However, if you wanted to just view this loop window behind the one in front, simply close the one in front first. That way you can check the focus of this back image here, and then you can automatically get back to that other loop window simply by clicking right there in front of it. So it's a very quick and easy way of analyzing your images and getting the most out of your preview window by comparing images side by side. Now, another great thing about the Bridge, let me close up these loop windows here because we really don't need those anymore, is the ability to group objects into what we call stacks. And this is a great new feature that's going to help you organize your photographs, especially photos of the same type of content. Let's say you have a particular photo shoot, like for instance all of these flower shots that you see here in the content window over here. What I want to do is I want to group these together into one big group. So let's go ahead and we'll select all of these simply by shift clicking to select all of those. There they are right there in the preview window. Again, let me reiterate here that you do have an individual loop for each one of these images. So if you wanted to see the loop tool in action on every single one of these, you could. But that's not exactly what we're doing in this particular demonstration. So I'll go ahead and put the loop tool away there. But now what we're going to do is we're going to group these together. And in order to do that, let's come up here to the Stacks menu and we'll choose Group as Stack. Or you can simply hit Control-G on the PC, Command-G on the Mac. And when you do that, you'll automatically get this little 3D box type thing up here that allows you to have those in a nice orderly group, which you can open by clicking this little number right here. You can open those to analyze all of the different images within the stack. You can also reorder the images here inside the stack, which will allow you to then have that image as the front image for that stack. You can also select only that front image to only view that image, or you can select the entire stack by clicking this little back portion, which will then go ahead and select all of the images in the stack, allowing you to view all of them simultaneously here inside the preview window. So this is an amazing little tool that's going to help you organize and keep all of your files sorted out so that you have individual photo shoots and different things like that grouped together so that you don't confuse them with other images that you might have over there in the content window. Now, if you wanted to view these images in sort of a makeshift slideshow mode, simply mouse over the stack itself, and you should get this little scroll bar up here. And inside that scroll bar, you should be able to click and drag through just like so to see each individual image here in the content window. Now it's a really tiny preview and I don't see that it's going to help you a whole lot, but at least then you'll be able to get somewhat of a preview of what's inside the stack without actually having to expand it all out. So this is just another way that they're building in there to help kind of speed up your workflow if you're looking for a specific photo that might be lying deep inside of one of these stacks that you've created, because there's really no limit, as far as I know, to the amount of images that you can put inside of one single stack. So you can have thousands of images in a stack, and it's very easy to find one once you have the ability to cycle through there with that little scroll bar. Now another thing that's kind of helpful, although not so much with this particular stack simply because we don't have that many images in it, but let's say you have a couple of hundred images here inside this stack. You can see how this would be particularly useful for cycling through all of those images. Now another one of the great things is this little button right here. You'll notice this little playhead right here, and if you click this, it's going to be a little bit too fast for you to see here. If I click that, it actually cycles through all of those images in sort of a makeshift slideshow. Now, the reason why it's so fast is because it defaults to a frame rate of 29.97. That's the default for DVDs, and it's also very, very fast if you don't have a whole lot of images selected here. So I would recommend that you have at least 50 to 100 images selected if you're going to play through that, so that it goes through at a fairly decent speed where you can actually get a view of exactly what's in there. Now, also you'll note that if you don't have 10 images grouped into this stack, you will not see this little playhead right here. So you need to have at least 10 images, but I would recommend having more than that if you're going to be using this little play button to cycle through them. Simply because, let me do this one more time just to show you exactly how fast it is. I'll just click this once and see it cycles through all of those, and you really couldn't tell what any of those images were, so it's really not the best way for previewing those as a makeshift slideshow. However, Bridge does have a wonderful, brand new, unbelievably useful slideshow mode that we're going to be talking about here in the next lesson.